This year is 80 years since the end of the Second World War, and that means that the guys who are veterans of that conflict are now 98, 99, 100, and so that idea of remembrance, of remembering someone else's story, becomes again more important, because just as there are no longer any living World War I veterans as they were when I was born, soon we'll be in a point where there aren't any living World War II veterans. And so I think it's worth remembering. I just was doing some nerdy history bit, and so during the Second World War, up to 85 million people lost their lives, as many as 55 million of those civilians. In Russia, it's estimated that 17 million civilians died, and in China that number could be as high as 20 million civilian citizens. We don't have to think, Hiroshima, Nagasaki, Dresden, Warsaw, cities almost completely destroyed by the war. Closer to home for me, in London, 1 million homes were destroyed across Europe. 60 million people were made homeless. In bare financial terms, it's estimated that the war cost $20 trillion in modern terms. And so on Remembrance Sunday, we are asked to remember the men and the women who volunteered, who perhaps not always volunteered, but who went into that place of conflict trying to bring peace through their own sacrifice. They bled and died, hoping that their children or grandchildren, or someone else's children or grandchildren often, would live in a better, safer, a world in which there was freedom and there was hope. But as I was doing the history stuff, it became clear that, since in the last 80 years, so since the end of the Second World War, 30 million civilians have died in conflicts around the world. And this week we're going to be looking at 2 Thessalonians 2, and it's a really complicated bit of Paul's writing. But what's clear is that there's a hope that the end of evil, the end of violence is coming. Because humanity on our own, no matter how high our ideals, how much we dream of glory and of hope and of light, we seem to be incapable of escaping our own darkness, our own selfishness, our own greed. And the world seems ever trapped in cycles of violence and hatred. But the Bible offers a way out and offers an end to those things, and that's what we're going to be looking at this week. I hope you'll join me.